HT unmute.
Hey, I got a simple two questions, real easy. Can you be pro-white in race as a Christian, or is that an oxymoron by the Orthodox standard?
I don't know what racism even means. So to me, it seems like it's inconsistent. And I think if you look at the Russian church's recent statement, everybody should be supportive of their people and their people group. So I don't buy that there is I don't buy that there is a sin of racism.
Okay. Well, like I've seen pictures of like Russian Orthodox where if I was a pro-white person and one of the priests was marrying a white man to a black woman, I would go, that's disgusting, but the church can't really object, can they?
On what basis is it disgusting?
Race mix is Jewish.
Well, how is it Jewish if you mean like rabbinic Judaism, because they don't race mix? Or do you mean that it's Jewish in the sense of a dysgenics operation or something?
Or Kalergi plan, miscegenation, it's all kind of like pushed through the Jewish media.
Okay, but on what basis is it wrong?
Well, I mean, if you're saying, that that it's okay to love my people, well, I don't want my people to disappear, and they would disappear if they continued mixing their genes.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if there is there a moral reason why? Because there's not always a black and white situation of like right and wrong, right? There might be some situations where through economia, I mean, kings and queens have offered their children to other kings and other queens in history as part of alliances and deals and stuff like that, which could conceivably violate this principle. So what I'm asking is, in your worldview, is there a moral wrong or is it just a biological wrong?
I'd say it's both, because I don't know where you guys are at with science, if you guys believe in science, but like if we got like 80 IQ blacks mixing with, average of 105 whites, and then they can't do they can't donate organs because of this. There's like scientific proof that it's like it goes against nature. And I see nothing but like the church, like they can't condemn any of that stuff. Like you could have a black person go marry a white person in your church, and if you spoke up, you'd probably be kicked out of the church, right?
Well, but what I said was there might be situations where that's allowed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it ought to be always done. So it seems like there's a false equivalence between something that might be done or tolerated versus something that ought to always be done, which is a weaponized way to replace people.
Can you speak out? Do you speak out against that in your church?
Well, it depends on exactly what you mean. Like I said, like I could speak out against the replacement of my people group, and I could have my own opinions about it. But what I want to know is like morally, you're saying it's morally wrong, and I'm asking like on what basis morally?
Well, I think if you look at like just like take America for example, race mixing was illegal at one point in this country, and they didn't view blacks as on our level. They viewed them as savages.
So what I'm asking is, how does that relate to it being morally wrong? The fact that something existed in American history.
Well, I mean, if your daughter wanted to date a chimpanzee, would it be morally wrong?
Well, that's a fallacy, because that's not a human being. So I'm asking you, on what basis do you say? So are you going to say that black people they're not persons?
Yeah, there's like ghost DNA that show that they don't like line up with Asians, Europeans.
Okay, so what is the IQ genetic cutoff for who is and who isn't a human? Is it 81, 85?
Well,
so would you say a retarded? So would you say like a retarded person isn't a human being?
Yeah, I would say that dangerous undeveloped frontal cortex of black people. This is why we have all these criminal elements in America, like 70% of violent crimes by 15%. And that's not just a socioeconomic thing. That's in Europe.
Okay, so what is the cutoff for who a human being is? What IQ level?
No, that's a good question. I would just say what are the fruits of I guess we've done.
So it's subjective. So you don't have an actual position on what a human being is.
Somewhat. I mean, if you're practicing cannibalism in Africa and your people haven't built anything.
Okay, so you've listed a bunch of civilizational things, but how does that tell me ontologically who is and isn't a human being?
Well, I would say based on civilization, they haven't built a civilization.
No, I'm saying those are civilizational critiques. I know what you're saying. I'm well aware. I've read all this stuff since 2007. I know who Hans Eysenck is. I've read all this. I know about genetics. I know about eugenics. I know about dysgenics. I know about race theory. I know all this stuff. I know about haplogroups. I know all this stuff. So what I'm asking you is, can you tell me what defines, is it objectively morally wrong in all cases? And what is the IQ cutoff for who is and isn't a human?
I would say that we'd have to go like up to 90, and yeah, it's
Okay.
morally wrong, and it's scientific.
Okay, so people with Down syndrome, they're not human beings?
Yeah, I mean, they technically are, but they're retards, and I don't think you should reproduce.
Okay, so now it's, well, but you said that the black people aren't if it's under 90. So, and how do you know that it's 90? Isn't that just arbitrary?
I think that's what the standard was in America, like that
Well,
80 was considered mildly
so I can
retarded,
just
so
appeal to
let's make
America?
that point safe, just
Okay,
in
so
case.
can I just appeal to American standards right now? Would you buy that as an argument?
Well, let's do it for Europeans across the board, not just Americans.
You appeal to what America did at some point in the past, and you don't understand philosophically why that would be a problem logically.
Can I ask you a question?
So now you're not going to answer my challenge.
No, I just answered like 4 questions in a row.
No.
And
Well, I answered your question, and now that we're at the point of the debate where there's a problem, you don't want to answer it. So why can't I just, can I just appeal to America's standards right now?
Pardon? Say that one.
Can I appeal to America's standards right now if you can arbitrarily appeal to American standards at some point in the past? That's why it's a bad argument.
I think what I'm asking you is,
okay, so you're not going to answer the questions. So he's not going to answer the challenge. So people think that they have these really solid arguments, these really cool, awesome positions. And then when you actually start drilling into it, it's just arbitrary. Well, America did this in the past. So like, I need a logical argument, a consistent philosophical argument as to why I'm supposed to follow America at that point in the past. I don't need you to just appeal to an arbitrary IQ level. I mean, you're laughing, but you're not giving good arguments. You're just giving assertion. Do you know the difference between an assertion and an argument? You know the difference between an assertion and an argument?
I'm sorry, you got cut off. I was asking you about if you had a white daughter, would you let
Do you
her
know
marry
the
a
difference
black
between
person?
an assertion and an argument?
Jay.
So you're not going to deal with the actual argument. You want to go back.
Jay.
So you're looking for a clip.
Can you be Christ-like and go back and forth with me politely? I mean, this is acting very
Christ-like.
one-sided.
No, that's called debating, right? So you understand that if you,
but I get to ask a question back.
no, not until we finish the topic. So you no, you didn't. You made arguments that were arbitrary.
This is recorded.
They were arbitrary. Why am I supposed to follow argument? Why am I supposed to follow the American position from XYZ point in history?
I'm asking you to follow.
So you're not going to answer that challenge. Are you not going to answer that challenge?
I want you to answer from a Christian perspective.
I'm giving you the Christian perspective, which is an internal. You don't have an ethic. You have no objective moral ethic.
So you don't want to answer this question because you wouldn't want your daughter to marry a black Christian.
Are you going to answer the challenge before we go to that?
Sure. What's the question?
Why should I follow American state positions on this at a certain point in the past as an argument that you gave, if I can just say to you, no, we should follow America's positions right now? That's why it's an arbitrary argument.
Well, you can follow whatever you'd like.
All right, so you don't understand why. Can you restate what my argument is? I don't even think you understand the argument.
It's a giant word salad.
Word salad. It's arbitrary. It's a fallacy. It's not word salad. I'm saying your argument is arbitrary.
What you're doing right now. This is a kike slave fallacy.
Oh, so that's all you have is ad hominem. So you act like a piece of shit automatically so that we won't continue this conversation. So you do that to get booted because you don't have an answer.